Well, there were plenty of holes to fill for this Dolphins team, a franchise that executed several significant trades over the course of the last year, and some of those moves bringing in multiple first-round picks, leaving the Dolphins with 3 first-round picks in last month's draft, one of which they used on the second quarterback off the board, Alabama's Tua Tagovailoa. And we continue our roster reset by bringing in our pal Mike Giardi for a bit more here on the Dolphins. Let's start with how they envision this quarterback situation going and integrating Tua Tagovailoa into this starting lineup at some point.
Well, Rhett, they didn't draft Tua at number 5 to let him sit there and collect dust on the sidelines. They want him to win the job in a perfect world. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably the best returning quarterback in the AFC East if you look by the numbers. And he said, look, I want to nurture Tua, but I'm here to play, and that's my goal. And if you look at what he did last year under a different offensive coordinator in Chad O'Shea, he brought that team together, and they became a very dangerous offense in the second half of the year. So Tua is going to have to not only supplant Fitzpatrick, the player, but also the leader, because that team clearly got behind him. Meanwhile, they change offensive coordinators. As I mentioned, Chad O'Shea fired after 1 year for being really too detailed and too difficult for the offense to be processed by some of the younger players. In comes Chan Gailey, who hasn't been in the league since 2017. Oddly enough, Gailey has been in the last 80 games that he's coached in the National Football League. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been his quarterback for 72 of those games. And Fitz had one of his best years of his career, 31 touchdown passes in the 2015-16 season with the Jets. So clearly some familiarity for Fitzpatrick, but also Gailey brings some of that college stuff to the table that, of course, Tua can thrive in. And lastly, I want to look at the defense, because this is a team, again, they're trying to rebuild this roster. And one of the things they had a hard time doing last year was getting to the quarterback. Taco Charlton, Charles Harris, that didn't work. So they went out and they got Shaq Lawson, Kyle Van Noy, and Emmanuel Ogbah. 19.5 sacks between the 3 of those guys. Want to create discomfort for the quarterback, and now with the secondary that has Xavier Howard on one side, and of course spent big money on Byron Jones on the other, they feel like they are much, much improved.